once sat in place of this empty Amazon fulfillment warehouse was Knoxville Center Mall. The nearly 1 million square foot structure was a gathering place for old and young alike for 35 years. In October of 1978, the Metropolitan Planning Commission voted 5-4 in favor of rezoning 120 acres of land in the Millertown Pike and Loves Creek area for the construction of a proposed East Towne Mall.
They have a computer program now that they can punch these variables into, and the computer will say, that's a viable place for a mall, this is not a viable place for a mall. They don't make many mistakes.
East Towne was slated to be larger than the West Towne Mall across town, but came with a hefty price tag of more than $50 million. In 1981, developers revealed the initial plans.
It will be 2 levels. It will contain 120 specialty shops, and this will be the focal point of the whole project. Within the mall itself, besides the department stores and the specialty shops, we will also have an entertainment center, which will be composed of restaurants, theaters, fast food restaurants, and a food court area with common seating.
The mall would be anchored by Miller's, Proffitt's, and JCPenney and would bring 1,500 jobs to the area. The city would receive $1.5 million in taxes per year.
The County of Knox, they should realize $1.1 million in revenues by the same combination of factors.
Construction of the mall is expected to begin sometime this summer, and it's scheduled to open in the fall of 1983.
As with any project of this magnitude, there were naturally some delays, but East Towne Mall was finally set to open in the summer of 1984.
I think most of the people out here are really thrilled that something is taking place out here in East Towne.
The construction of the mall meant an influx of traffic that would be new to the once rural area. Some residents sold their homes in order to avoid the rush.
It's going to be hard to give up a place that we've worked for and really has become a part of us. Although when we begin to think about the disturbance of the traffic and so forth that we've undergone, why, it's not going to be too hard.
While customers are anxious for the mall to open tomorrow, residents are anxious to get offers. And yet they say they find themselves somewhat in a paradox. They're excited about good community development, but they're sad because that's why they're moving.
On the eve of the grand opening, most of the stores were ready for the thousands of people who would attend over the weekend, but some of the smaller specialty shops still had quite a way to go.
Some of the stores hurrying, stocking, doing last-minute items, but that's always the case. That's always the case in a project of this magnitude.
Around 95 of the 170 businesses in East Towne were ready to go for the pomp and circumstance of opening day.
The individual putting together the ribbon cutting is also doing the opening ceremonies for the Summer Olympics in Los Angeles.
Those who lived with the project since its inception were happy to see their plans finally come to fruition.
Very excited about it. I was here about 5 years ago when we started on the project, and when you realize we couldn't even get to the site because the road wasn't in, you realize we've come a long way in 5 years.
3, 2, 1, cut the ribbon!
Even Mickey Mouse was on hand to witness the opening. More than 20,000 balloons fell from the ceiling. Store shutters were lifted, and on July 25th, 1984, East Towne Mall officially opened.
I just can't believe this place. I've been to a lot of malls, and I just say it must be the best in the whole country.
I'm 99 numbers away, so it won't be long.
I have, funny feelings. This used to be Hayfield right here. But otherwise, I think East needed it very badly out here.
It's a different place to shop. If it was a carbon copy of West Towne, then there would be no reason for people to come here. But since it's totally different, with different stores, there is definitely a reason, and it's only 10 or 15 minutes from the west side of Knoxville.
Merchants expect the crowds to stay this good for at least 2 weeks. More people will be coming to explore the mall, and others will be coming back to take a second look. After that, they don't expect it to get any worse. They say with a good economy, things should look up for quite some time.
Mall managers expected 20,000 shoppers on opening day, but by the end of business, more than 100,000 people had visited.
Our business has been fantastic today.
real good.
Stores like Shea Chocolate say they're not nuts for coming into a mall like this. With the wide mix of stores, they say they've made a very sweet deal.
It seems the real profit was made here today by the many eateries, some of which had their entire staffs working behind the counter.
Knoxville has done us well. We're getting quite near setting even Chick-fil-A records for grand openings in malls. We were hoping to shoot for $13,000 in chicken sales in one day, which is a lot of chickens.
The large crowds did discourage a few patrons.
No, we burned 4 gallons of gas trying to find a parking place.
I think East Town's too crowded right now. We'll go later.
Aside from a few hiccups, the years-long project was complete, and East Towne Mall was finally open to provide a new shopping experience for those in East Tennessee. The East Towne Mall name endured until 1997, when developers announced it would undergo a multi-million-dollar renovation and change its name to Knoxville Center.
3, 2, 1.
Knoxville Center Mall's grand reopening came in November 1997. The renovation changed the look of the shopping space to reflect the culture of East Tennessee. That change included the Cade's Cookout food court and the newly renamed East and West concourses, now called Trout Court and the University. Shoppers were pleased.
What do you think of the changes? How different does it look to you?
Well, I tell you, it looked good now. See, we come this train down here when it opened up, and we still come down here. It's looking good.
In the years that followed, Knoxville Center struggled to keep stores and customers.
People who have lived out here like myself have watched the decline in the mall over the years.
Officials pointed to the economy as the likely culprit, but businesses said there were other factors.
Developers say there are two main problems facing the Knoxville Center Mall area: access and visibility.
Out of sight is out of mind. People don't know to stop here.
For one thing, if you're driving down 640, you can't even see the mall because of all the trees and brush.
You're blinded. You do not know what's on the other side of this big green wall. And it turns out there's a mall with at least 60 stores. There are at least 60 more stores that are independent stores on either side of the interstate.
And the second thing is that there's only one exit. So if you miss it, it's a big hassle to turn around.
Going by and you finally realize, oh, there's the shopping mecca I was looking for. You need to be able to get off as you come up to Millertown Pike if you're going south, or Washington Pike if you're going north. But they don't have that second chance exit.
Before long, Knoxville Center had less than 50% store occupancy. At times, it seemed like a ghost town.
I grew up going there, and I'd love to continue having the Knoxville Center there so my kids can go there eventually and grandkids can go there.
There were movements to help revive the failing mall, like the hashtag Save East Towne Mall.
When she posted it, it was not only an hour before it caught crazy.
I really had no clue that it would take off as fast as it has.
I would like to see that comfort and ease come back, the smiles, the happiness that surround it, the warm feeling that you get.
Despite the community's efforts, Knoxville Center closed on January 31st, 2020, after more than 35 years in business.
Well, here at the Knoxville Center Mall, or East Town, whatever you want to call it, the building was open today, but all the stores were already closed.
People showed up on the final day to relive old memories. One of the very first stores in East Town when it opened was Regal Tuxedo. It was the last shop to leave.
We kind of knew the handwriting was on the wall before that because so many merchants were leaving, so we kind of figured it was coming soon. It's very nostalgic. It's kind of, I guess, bittersweet.
A stalwart of Knoxville Center was our very own Ken Schwall. He would frequent the mall whenever he needed a story, and it never disappointed.
This place has seen better days, of course, so have I. Whenever we were stuck for something meaningful and relevant to do, we would come here. So we were here a lot, believe me. Lighter topics, nothing serious. That was against the rule.
It's a common sight. You see it every time you go to Knoxville Center, and it seems perfectly normal until one day it hits you. All these people, they're standing still.
Is there any law that says you can't walk up the escalator?
No, I should have probably thought about doing it, but I didn't.
No, I don't want to put a guilt trip on you. Just stood there and rode up.
Uh-huh.
Did it ever enter your mind to, walk?
I'm not in a hurry today.
The grand prize goes to this guy who ran up the escalator 2 steps at a time.
Did I see you take those steps 2 at a time?
You sure did.
Why?
Faster.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
Real simple.
Whew.
It's like the old days.
And on the last day that Knoxville Center's doors were open, Schwal put a microphone in front of mall goers one last time.
What are you doing on the floor?
It's restful. It's very restful. Mr. Schwal, sir, Ken, sir.
What's he doing on the floor?
Well, at the time, we were reenacting something that happened many years ago.
I had a seizure, fell on the floor, was shaking all over.
That's your fondest memory of the place?
They put me in a really nice, comfortable wheelchair and rolled me back in the back behind the restaurants.
That's good.
And like so many others, Schwal was sad to see the Knoxville staple go.
It's kind of sad, and the thing is, I'm glad I'm not working because I, try to get a soundbite around here. Except for me, you got nobody.
With that, East Towne Mall, a place that was once a beacon for shoppers and retailers, closed its doors for the final time.
From the beginning and its downfall, the growth of the whole area that's been going on and everything. So we've been through a lot in this community. Great place to shop at one time. One of the most innovative places built. Everybody just loved coming to East Town.
As soon as Knoxville Center closed, people began to ask what would happen to the building. Suggestions ranged from an indoor skate park to a baseball field to a water park and even reopening to another shopping mall.
This is a growing area. It's not a dying area. There's a lot of new growth coming.
After more than 400 days, the city announced plans to turn the site into an Amazon fulfillment warehouse. Destruction of the mall began shortly thereafter. Today, the Amazon facility is built, but vacant. A spokesperson tells us final construction is happening inside the facility, but there is still no trace left of the shopping mecca that once stood there.